The echo of past lives. It started with the dreams. At first, they were just fragments, fleeting images that slipped away as soon as I woke up. But over time, they became more vivid, more detailed. I'd find myself standing in places I'd never been before. A bustling medieval marketplace, a dimly lit Victorian parlor, even an ancient temple surrounded by dense jungle. Each dream felt real, like I was living someone else's life. One night, everything changed. I dreamed of a man, a soldier, judging by his uniform, who stood atop a hill overlooking a battlefield. His face was lined with worry, his hands trembling as he clutched a sword. As I watched, he turned toward me and spoke my name. "Evan," he whispered, his voice filled with sorrow. "Remember." I jolted awake, drenched in sweat, the words echoing in my mind. Remember? Remember what? The next day I shrugged it off as a strange coincidence. After all, how could a dream mean anything? But then the memories began surfacing, not mine, but theirs. Random snippets would invade my thoughts throughout the day. The smell of burning wood during a fire, the sound of rain on a tin roof, the feel of cold steel in my hand. Sometimes I'd catch glimpses of faces in crowds that seemed familiar, though I'd never seen them before. It was maddening, like pieces of a puzzle falling into place without forming a complete picture. Then came the visions. They weren't dreams. They happened while I was awake. One moment, I'd be walking down the street, and the next, I'd see flashes of another time, a woman screaming in terror as flames engulfed her home, a child crying out for their mother amidst chaos. These moments left me disoriented, confused, and terrified. What was happening to me? Desperate for answers, I turned to the internet. That's where I found Dr. Clara Hayes, a psychologist specializing in past life regression therapy. Skeptical but desperate, I booked an appointment. She listened intently as I described my experiences, nodding thoughtfully. "It sounds like you're experiencing signs of reincarnation," she said finally. "Some people believe our souls carry memories from previous lives, buried deep within our subconscious. Through guided meditation, we can access those memories and make sense of them." Though skeptical, I agreed to try it. During our session, Dr. Hayes led me through a series of calming exercises until I entered a trance-like state. Slowly, the memories flooded back, lives lived centuries apart, yet intertwined in ways I couldn't comprehend. I saw myself as a knight defending a castle, a sailor lost at sea, a factory worker during the Industrial Revolution. Each memory brought clarity, but also pain, the weight of lives cut short, battles lost, loves abandoned. But one memory stood out above the rest. I was a young boy living in a small village nestled between rolling hills. One day, invaders attacked, slaughtering everyone in sight. I hid under a bed, clutching a wooden toy bear, watching helplessly as my family was murdered. When the attackers left, I emerged, only to be struck down by an arrow meant for someone else. My last thought was anger, not at the invaders, but at the universe for letting this happen. As the vision faded, I snapped back to reality, gasping for air. Dr. Hayes looked concerned. "Did you see anything significant?" she asked. "Yes," I replied, my voice shaking. I think I know why these memories are coming back now." Over the following weeks, the visions grew stronger, more frequent. And then, one evening, something extraordinary happened. While walking home, I passed a park I hadn't noticed before. Something about it felt familiar, so I decided to explore. In the center stood an old oak tree, its branches gnarled and twisted. Beneath it lay a weathered stone marker half buried in the ground. Curious, I brushed away the dirt and read the inscription. "Here lies Thomas Reed, aged 8 years, killed defending his home." My breath hitched. Thomas Reed, the boy from the vision. This was where he had died, where I had died. That night, the dreams returned, but this time, they weren't fragmented. They told a story, one of vengeance, redemption, and acceptance. The soldier from my first dream appeared again, older now, his eyes weary but determined. He handed me a letter sealed with wax. "Read it," he urged. "It will explain everything." When I woke up, the letter was in my hands, written in ink that smelled faintly of sulfur. It detailed a prophecy spoken centuries ago, that a soul burdened by injustice would return seeking balance. My purpose wasn't just to remember, it was to act. At first, I resisted. How could I possibly fulfill such a destiny? But as the days passed, I realized the truth. Every life I'd lived had prepared me for this moment. The night taught me courage, the sailor resilience, the factory worker perseverance, and little Thomas showed me the importance of protecting the innocent. Now, I walk a fine line between worlds, fighting forces most people don't believe exist. Some call me crazy, others a savior. But I know the truth, I'm neither. I'm simply a vessel, carrying the echoes of past lives into the present. And though the burden is heavy, I've come to accept it. Because if there's one thing I've learned, it's this: death isn't the end. Not when your soul carries the weight of eternity.